Good afternoon, Mike Carraway. We're here today to discuss the do's and don'ts of insurance claims after this hurricane that we've all experienced. And I'd like to discuss some of those, and I'm going to start with the do's. The things that you want to do is, if you're an individual, you want to report the claim promptly. Contact your insurance provider and as soon as possible after the incident. And then if you're a business, you want to notify your insurance broker or carrier immediately to avoid any delays in processing. And then also you want to document everything, which means you want to take photos and videos of the damage, keep records of any communications with your insurer. Businesses need to maintain a detailed log of the incident, including photos, videos, and relevant documentation, because they have different kinds of coverages that homeowners don't have. And then you want to mitigate the damage of the claim, which means if you have a tree on your house, you have the authority immediately. If you have an insured home or business, you have the authority to get that tree off your house and properly secure the house to keep from further damage being done by rain or what have you. You want to keep your receipts, because in the rush of everything, people don't remember everything that they did to mitigate their damage to their home or their business, and it adds up very quickly, and you'll recognize that, and you'll need it. It'll make it a whole lot easier when you file the claim and you meet with your adjuster. And then you want to communicate clearly. You want to stay in regular contact with your adjuster, but not daily, at least every other day, and request the information to see how things are going. Some of the things that you don't want to do is you don't want to delay reporting. If you think you have a claim, go ahead and report the claim. It puts you on the list earlier, and then you can also make sure that those claims are being mitigated quickly. Something that you want to be careful not to do is you don't want to make repairs too quickly, because permanent repairs can't happen until insurance company has a chance to look at the damages. But you want to be clear that you can do everything to keep the loss from being any worse. Like, for example, you got a hole in the roof, put a tarp on the roof, do whatever you have to do to keep there from being more damages. You can do that, and that is a covered expense. Don't assume you're covered. Make sure, ask questions about everything. With homeowners, there's a lot of different scenarios where some insurance companies have some things covered, some don't. You need to ask the questions and be mindful that the person that comes out to look at your claim may not be an insurance expert. They're a damage expert. They do not know about your coverages. So don't take what they have to say about whether you're covered or not, because most of the time they do not know. Don't accept your first settlement. Make sure that you go through it with your contractor, whoever's going to do the repairs for you. Make sure that it lines up and that you agree with it, because oftentimes you will find out that it's not enough, that there's some room that, there'll be a few $1,000s off, and they're expecting you to come back and say, hey, we need to get closer to the contractor on this money. Remember that the insurance company's job is to hold on to the dollars, and the contractor that's out there is wanting to make the dollars. So you got to work in between, and they generally do that very well when you put the two together. You never want to put the contractor in the place of the insured. You want the insured to be speaking with the insurance company, not the contractor.
So when it comes to the permitting side of things, the first thing is to find a licensed contractor, professional, to come in and see what all damage has taken place. Chances are, if a tree fell on the house, a permit is going to be required. There's going to be structural issues, possibly electrical issues. All of those do require a permit. One of the most important parts of having a permit is the fact that our staff up front is trained to verify that that contractor is licensed to do the work that they're about to perform. That's where a lot of people get into trouble. Contractors coming in and taking money. They're hiring people that nobody's heard of. They're not pulling permits, even if they're saying they are. One way for you to check to see if there is a permit pulled for your job is to give us a call. Call building standards and call code enforcement. All of us work together closely. We can get you the answers you need. Second things that are important and a reason to pull permits is our inspectors are highly trained. They have credentials from mechanical to plumbing to electrical to structural. They're out there to ensure that the work is done properly to the code and that everything is saved.
First of all, when someone's coming out, they're pressuring you to go ahead and handle them, sign a contract with them to get them to do the work before they move on, because We have a lot of people coming from outside of the CSRA to help us out with this. There's no way all of our local contractors per se can handle this, so we are working with individuals who are licensed. We are ensuring that the people who do come to pull the permits do have a state license of where they're from. We're wanting to make sure that you all are getting we all have the same, from the commissioners to the county manager to the staff. The premier thing is the safety of the homeowner as we work through all of this damage, and it is quite cumbersome. So if you will give us, like Preston said, if you'll give us a call up front, we can go through and help you and ensure that these people are licensed, that they hold the proper license. From a GC to a handyman can't do structural type work. So you're best off to have a general contractor or a residential contractor come in, assess the damage. Initially up front, you want to safe off the building. Like Mr. Carraway said, you need to get that, whether it be debris off of your home, get that envelope closed back off, because nothing is more detrimental to the home than having it exposed to the elements, whether it be just the condition of the atmosphere outside being the high humidity, whether it is rain. It has an impact on your home internal. So you're going to want someone of that certification to come out and do the assessment. A general handyman can handle small items, something that is more cosmetic, not structural to the home. So if it is typically just structural stuff, you definitely need a state licensed individual. If it is just cosmetic type work, then yes, they can do the work. If you go to the facade of the building, the brick, whether it be hardy board, whether it be vinyl siding, those type things still require a permit, and we will ensure, if you will call our office, we will have staff check into it and check into the individual that you're trying to hire to make sure they have those proper licenses, and then that the proper permits get pulled in the process.
So when it comes to quotes, right now, unfortunately, there are people out there that are charging double, maybe even triple what they would normally charge. Never go and get just one quote. Always get multiple quotes. At least 3 is always what I recommend personally. The more the better. Just because it's a low quote doesn't necessarily mean it's the right contractor to use either. They may be missing something that causes their quote to be low. Just because it's the highest quote may not mean it's a bad quote either, though. So it's always best to compare them. You're going to have several that are really, really close. The people that do it every day, they get down to the dollar. When it comes to how much money to put down, companies are always different. Like Mr. Carraway said, don't ever put anything down until your settlement with the insurance company is completed, but never ever pay in full up front. You always have to have something to hold back on the contractor later. That's how the ones that are taking advantage of people are getting away with it. They're taking all the money and they're running. Hopefully that's few and far between, but it does happen, unfortunately. We hear it all the time.
The main thing that you want to do is make sure that you're an advocate for yourself. It's very important that you take responsibility and don't rely on somebody telling you something. Make sure that you know what they're talking about. Compare the bids that you have. Make sure that all facets of dimensions of the reconstruction is in there, that there's nothing missing. And then remember that if you cannot come to an agreement with the insurance company or in the contractor, that you can get a private adjuster to be to get in between and mediate and get that number. Because remember, you paid for coverage. You have a right to get your property back in the right condition, to make you whole. And so there shouldn't be any issue that minus your deductible. You're only responsible for your deductible, and then after that, your insurance is to make you whole. I hope that helps with any questions that you all may have.